More than a more than a dot.
Welcome to More Than a Dad podcast. I'm your host, Dre Moore. I got my guy, Lou Mobe, here with me.
What's the deal, baby?
What's up, y'all? And today we want to shout out Charlotte, North Carolina. We see y'all in the downloads. We appreciate the support. It's been amazing. You know what I'm saying? It's warm there. We could go there because it's warm. But we're going to jump right. Listen, I don't hate the cold. We're going to jump right into this at a fast five for my guy. This is the superhero edition. You know what I'm saying? Good versus evil. You know what I'm saying? We going to go Superman or Lex Luthor.
Superman.
Superman. Spider-Man or Venom.
Venom.
Batman or Joker.
Batman.
Wolverine or Sabretooth.
Wolverine.
Black Panther or Neymar.
Black Panther.
And for bonus, Optimus Prime or Megatron.
Prime.
We going Prime?
Prime
over Megatron.
You know what's funny though? In all the movies, why Optimus Prime be getting treated?
Until he win, they gotta save him. You know what I'm
Bro, the fake drama of like he could have did that from the beginning and saved us all these minutes of heartache. He was on a die.
We wouldn't be.
They kill Optimus Prime like every movie. Am I making that up?
Nah, he gets smoked a lot. They gotta get in whatever that little dagger thing they put in his chest to revive. Cause,
Right.
How's dad life, bro?
Oh man, their life is cool, man. Just thinking about like, you know how we said on one of the episodes, like you spend all this money for toys and your daughter could be in here playing with anything.
They play with boxes and stuff.
Bro, so the other night my wife was she had class until like 10, so it was just me and the kids cook, put them, get them ready for bed, bathe them and everything, and we all in the bed, like
Right.
all me, Manny, and Osa in the bed, right, which is not really. Like, you ain't about to be resting because they gonna twist, turn, and not go to sleep for a minute.
Right.
I turn my flashlight on my phone to look at something like in the room, cause we in the dark. I sleep in the dark, and she like white noise. So like it's not as dark as it could be because the YouTube is on white noise, and the lights is out. I had to put the flashlight on. Like, what is that? Like, looking for something. They see the shadow. They start playing with their hands in front of the flashlight
right.
with the shadow. And we went on to do that for like 20 to 30 minutes.
Right.
And it just reminded me like of Tor and multiple guys to come here and say like, yo, you think it costs money to be this amazing dad, like to wow them with this amazing stuff. And here I am using a flashlight on an iPhone and just cutting the lights off in the room. And we playing with our hands and making monsters and eating each other's hands. And, it just... We made it into a thing for like 10 minutes, and people over here thinking like dad life is so complicated. Like, you know how thrilled he was? He asked me the next night, can we do the same thing we did the night before?
Absolutely.
My man just put on Facebook, he was like, you buy all these toys and your kids be over there playing with canned goods, having a ball with the canned goods. It just speaks to that, man. How's dad life for you?
Dad life is yeah, dad life is amazing. Lil Dre, I can't and I came in here in the episode and I was talking to him. I was talking to y'all about him getting punched on in school and not learning how to mind his business, like him learning life lessons through experience, even though these things I've been trying to teach him. So like it's not even like a new thing. It's like a thing that's been going on that I don't really know how to navigate. So he gets the other day I get like a little conduct notification from the school, and it's just like, oh, he's doing like inappropriate internet usage. That sounds nasty. It's not, y'all. So I pick him up from school, and I'm like, what you was doing on the internet, whatever that you wasn't supposed to be doing in class. So he was like, oh, I was playing a game on the internet. That's inappropriate internet usage. Playing a game on the internet.
That's gonna be the title of the episode.
Inappropriate internet.
It sounds nasty.
Listen, so He's playing the game on the internet. You know, of course the teacher's catching him. He always gets caught doing these things. And I'm trying to figure out how to get him to stop doing it.
Like getting to stop, like not being. He's unoccupied. It's not keeping his
But
attention.
he don't even be doing all like. I can't even say he didn't do all his work.
Is he being challenged enough
Yeah.
academically?
Yes.
Is he just like I don't?
He
want,
said all he thinks about is games. I said, why you always on the game? Like he said, that's all I think about. Like that's all that lives in his head.
Well, you know, at a certain age, it's gonna be girls and sports and maybe I don't know.
I don't know. It's just like I guess what I'm trying to say here is like, you know, like in parenting, like I feel like we have a lot of repetitive conversations. I feel like I'm having the same talk, and it is grinding my gears
Yes.
of having the same talk with you.
You said it recently.
Daily.
You said it recently on an episode where you said just because you care about it, why he got to care about it? Like you gonna have to let him crash out. You gonna have to let him get the computer taken from him or something. I don't know.
Yeah, but then like that's the whole twist. Like you get you get your phones and stuff taken, you get your tablet taken, you get your laptop taken. You're just gonna go do it in school because they gave you a computer. Now you got a computer in school, so like after I do my work, then now I'm just gonna log out that and I'm gonna log into this. Like it's like I can't avoid it.
The
I
unavoidable.
can't. Yeah, like it's like the unavoidable, and I can't get you to understand like why there's a place and time for you to play games and not. I'm tired of having the same conversation with gang, but yeah, if anybody has advice
Well, how to
on how to not have the same conversation with your kids 2,000 times, leave it in the comments.
you kind of just discouraged me. That's what I was just thinking about. Is like, you know, Manny sings and dance and like making all these random noises all day, just super noisy. And it's just like, then one day he gonna grow out of it. Like, but I'm listening to you, like he just may not. Like it just
Like,
might
he
be.
just-
I might still be stuck in that same stop running and dance until he 18 or something. I guess.
Listen, some things. Listen, it's like that. It's like the same. Like, and I feel like I be having the same conversation with cuz, and I'm like, it made me really think. Like, yo, did my parents feel like they was having the same conversation with me all the time? And I feel like they didn't. But I could be wrong. I would have to ask them. Maybe that's a poll somewhere. Maybe we should poll our parents and ask. Like, did you have to have the same conversation with me 200 times? Because other than that, I'm just going to think the kids is just, the elevator ain't going up.
The elevator is not going
The
up.
elevator is not going up.
Man, let's get your thoughts on something, man. My new favorite segment, man. So, former NBA basketball player Eddy Curry, he shares the experience of paying like back child support, and he was really confused, and he tried to get out of it because he said he had receipts on giving his child's mother over $1 million. Like he had, what is it called, cashier checks, receipts, and all this stuff. And when he went to go do the thing at the child support, they were saying like, that's considered a gift because it didn't go through the state of Illinois as child support. So he ended up owing all that same money back again, even though he paid it. And as somebody who is on child support, I wanted to ask, how do you feel about that?
He should have took it to the courts.
He should have never just been like blessing
Never
her.
gave it. Once the courts is involved, you got to deal with the courts. Like even like when like example, I changed jobs. You know, they take my child support directly out of my check. I changed jobs, so it's like a gap because it's a court order. Like I got to submit to the court that I got a new job. They then send a court order to the HR, the payroll department, or whoever they send it to withhold this amount of money from my check and then send it to the court.
Wow.
That process in there is like could be like 2-3 weeks of a process. In those 2-3 weeks on my own, I went down there and I was taking the payments to the courthouse because what happened is if you miss 3 weeks, they'll put you in arrears. And then because they put you in arrears, they're gonna tack a little extra payment on, so they're gonna send out another order because they put like 10% towards your arrears. So my child support is $700 a month. Now my monthly child support payment becomes $770 a month until my arrears are caught up. So to avoid from then that being a back and forth of them sending the order for the arrears, and then once it goes back to regular to send it back. In that little 2-week time frame before they was taking it out of my check, I was just taking it out and taking it down to the courthouse.
Right.
Not saying that everybody's that responsible. He in a sticky situation with $1 million that he done gave her, but the accountability part of me is gonna say like, bro, you should have. Once you got to deal with them people, you got to deal with them people. Like I can't talk to you. Like if we had an off the books agreement, like that's what we had. Like, but it don't count for nothing.
Yeah, we speculating. So maybe. So what if the situation was this is before child support was even involved?
Then it's irrelevant.
Wow.
Yeah, it's irrelevant because it don't. Well, then that makes no sense then, bro. Was he trying to get out of child support?
Yeah, he was trying to get out of it.
He was trying to like not have to pay it going forward, or the kid is already.
He was trying to because they were saying that he owed.
So then the child support order was already there.
Okay.
Yeah, the order you only owe from, and then people have that misconception like people owe child support. Like if I go file for child support on my kid that's 17, then the other parent is gonna owe me 17 years worth of back child support. No,
That's not true.
no, it goes from when you file.
Okay.
That's when it starts. From the day somebody filed for child support is when it goes into effect. So if he was already owing it, then the order was already there, which means he should have been dealing with them people and not dealing with her. If he was given before he got put on child support, like I was in that situation too, it's irrelevant. It don't matter. It don't mean nothing in the court side. You're supposed to take care of the kid. Now this is the order that's in place.
And this is your child support expert, Dre Moore.
Chill, gang. Listen.
Man, I wanted to have an interesting talk here, man. That we don't ever talk about this side of parenting as much. But let's do it. Let's acknowledge we both are step parents.
Absolutely.
Like technically.
Yes, sir.
Let's go there. So like I feel like step parenting is like the hardest job in the household.
It's intricate. Because like it's hard to like navigate that space of like trying to get kids to accept you while be authoritarian. Like it's like a thin line that you try to toe and you try to navigate in there. Like I don't want the kids to dislike me, but also I want them to respect that like I'm another parent and I'm not your friend. I'm not really your equal. I'm not your peer. So it's a thin line. It's definitely a lot to navigate in that space.
I think how I look at step parent is like it can just go so many ways, right? Like I think you said it to me before. It's like you can have parenting responsibilities and somebody can just not see you as a parent.
Absolutely.
And I just think that's a wide range. And as a person signing up to be a step parent or a stepdad, mom, or whatever, like that's a big ass.
Right.
You know, it's a huge ass to ask somebody like, yo, to do what the other parent do. You ain't make these kids, but to do what they're doing, and it's still to be on the kids to be receptive of you or not.
Right.
And it's a huge commitment, and it's like it's a job with no pats on the backs. There's none of that, right? Like it's just I'm doing this because you guys are here,
Right.
right? Like and I just think like, you know, step parents get bad raps. You know, there are, you know, just like it's terrible parents in the world, there's terrible step parents, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's people that step parents that don't really have nothing to do with the step kids. They don't deal with them. We in the same space, but like I really don't deal with them kids. They just
Them kids over there.
Yeah, they
the
them
other
kids,
way.
Yeah,
them kids over.
They just them kids across the room. And yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot to actually like because it's a selfless thing. Like it's the most selfless thing in the world. And like I have that conversation, you know, like with my mom that technically raised me. That's not like my biological mom, but that's my mom. She was there my whole life. And I understand how selfless that was for her to do that for me when she didn't have to. Everything that she's given me, you know, treating me as if I was one of her own and making me not feel no different than any of the other kids, you know, I didn't never feel it. And to me, that's the like, it's like a different type of love. Like it's a love that you have for doing something that you really didn't have to do. Like you didn't owe me that. You didn't make me. You didn't owe me that. But you gave everything that you had for me. And I look at it like that. So I have that type of appreciation for a person that's in that position. Everybody don't see it that way.
Right. Like I see things on the internet. Like I think Dame Dash or somebody said it. Maybe Dame Dash, but it was like, how can somebody love a kid more than the people that made them? And I just thought it was not a good quote or a good
Right.
statement, because we see people have kids and be gone and be absent and leave it for everybody else to pick up, whether it's a step parent, grandma, uncle, sister, brother, whoever it falls on, just a
Right.
mom. I didn't think that was like a real life statement, because there are some super great bonus parents out here.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And to be like, yeah, you can't love, like, it would be crazy for somebody to say they love Manny more than me and his mom.
Right.
Like I'm just be honest. It would just be blasphemy.
Right.
Like, I'm just take it all the way there. It'd be blasphemy for somebody to appear and say they love Manny more than I do.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So
Because the only thing in that, like when people look at it like that, like the only thing that's in that is really like genetics and blood, but like you was there for everything. If you're there for everything and you're involved, we're not talking about like a step parent that's just like, I'm a step parent by technicality because like I'm married to your mom or I'm married to your father. But like I actually been here hands on day to day with the kid, doing things, teaching them things, showing them things, participating in things. Blood don't change that.
right.
Like it don't make it no different.
I think I told the story here. Like, it wasn't until I went to college and I was around, different type of people, and they were like having like real wholesome families, and everybody was the same parents and all that. They're like, your brother's your half brother, right?
Right.
But another pivotal thing I remember is when my dad died, right? And at his funeral service, Lamont got up there and spoke.
Right.
And he spoke about like what man wants to take care of a 6-year-old kid from somebody else.
Right.
And he was like, "This how much this man means to me." And this was like the speech at the funeral. You know what I'm saying? I'll never forget, him getting up there doing it, choking up, crying, and he was like, "That's my dad." Like, you know what I mean? And it's like he didn't have to do that. I don't know what age you get at to appreciate the step parent, but when it come out, it's like the most beautiful thing to me. Like, that's just how I could put it. Like, it's the most beautiful. You didn't have to you don't know what that looks like. You didn't have to. What does that look like when it, like, you know what I mean, when it's expressed, or
Right.
when you really dissect? You didn't have to. She made me feel comfortable like everybody else. Like, what does that even look like or feel like when you have other kids? That's what it looked like and feel like. You think
Right,
I'm saying?
absolutely.
When had a conversation with C's not that long ago, and we were talking about step parenting, and he was like, "Lou, I think you're the best person to talk to this about." And he was like, "Do you feel like you treat Manny and Osa different?" And I was like on the surface level, no.
Right.
I think they are very special to me, very differently. And if any bias, I've known Manny longer.
Right.
So if it's anything that I feel more connected to Manny, because Manny been with me almost 5 years and Osa's only been alive 18 months.
Right.
So, you know what I mean? But one is my biological kid and one is not.
Right, but it don't.
It don't really.
Yeah, it don't because he's been here. It don't really matter because y'all have that relationship, and I think that's like the overarching theme in this is like the relationship that you building is still genuine regardless of the blood relation. It's like the same thing. Like some people have friends that they're closer to than their family
Right.
because of what we've been through, what life thing that we went through that somebody was there for, that somebody might have been a part of, that somebody experienced with you, that you actually grow to love them as if they were your family, if not in a greater aspect, depending on the nature of the situation.
I think what I will say is the best part of step parenting, or when you see it really done at a high level, you ain't gonna ever be in a chance to like really praise that person, because when it's executed correctly, you don't even know that they're a step parent.
Right.
Isn't that a crazy dynamic? Like when somebody just that bomb of a stepdad or a stepmom, the world is not even interpreting it as that. Like, yo, you a great ass stepdad. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just not,
Right. It's like you're just like a great dad.
You just a great dad,
Right.
right? So it's kind of like even overlooked. And like, I'll pivot for a second. Like, one of the biggest growth areas for me as a man and as a father and as a husband is to really live in serving and doing a good job, and not looking at I'm doing something extra and I deserve praise for being Manny's dad.
Right.
That's like one of the biggest personal growths I've had in the last 5 years. Is to like not look at it that way and look at it as I'm going to just serve and do.
Absolutely.
You know, I think I said it on here before. Like my commitment and how I'm carrying it has nothing to do with what he was receiving or wasn't receiving. It was going to be what I was doing anyway. You know, if the situation was completely different and the other guy was like hands on, he would just have two hands on pops.
Right. Regardless of the circumstance.
You know what I'm saying? So it's very interesting. I'm very passionate about the topic, but like, you know, you don't like if somebody was a great step parent, you normally just identify them as, well, she's just a great mom or dad. It won't be like, you know, because I think step parenting even has that
But
stigma.
I think that's what you like.
You wanted to feel like.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Like
Right.
I think the step part makes it weird. You know what I'm saying? Like it makes it weird. Like when like even like if I'm like, you know, talking about Nadia, like that's my daughter. Like that's just how I address it. Like it's just the step part just makes it like it's like you drawing attention to it. You make it awkward
what they say is a backward compliment.
Kinda like we don't really have that like it's not really like to me it's not a step parent, you know, relationship. It's a parent relationship, to be honest.
No, it's I think only reason, and I'm just trying to highlight what the words are. I don't identify as a step
No,
parent.
I know, no, I'm just
Right,
saying.
so I think only time, and we talked about this before, only time that I'm reminded that is what it is when I gotta put down who I'm as an emergency contact, who I am to the child on paper,
Right.
or who am I when I'm picking the person up, or I'm reminded of that. Even sometimes, bro, this is how much like this. I just been here the whole time. When the school say his full name,
Right.
and they say his last name, that's a reminder of me of, oh, snaps.
Right.
Other than that, he just my kid.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? It's a reminder, oh, that is, you know, this is that, right? He has a different last name and whatever. Normally, people call him Manny. They don't even call him his first name.
Yeah.
So to hear,
everybody calling him.
So to hear him say first name and last name, you know, at a formal setting like a school, it's like, oh, that's your little random reminders every now and then when that happens. Like, other than that, it's like, oh, that's just Manny. Like, that's Lou's son.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's funny because it's like I said, like you don't even really think about it. You kind of just doing. So like it really like the most ideal situation that you would be thinking about, like a step parent situation, like it would just have to just come natural. Like let's not make it awkward. Let's not talk about it in this way. Let's not make it obvious that like this is my kid and this is not my kid like that. Like let's not do those things. If you're natural and you're gonna just treat the kids all the same, I think it just comes naturally. I think it's not even, just like you said, I think it's not even thought about.
No, let's since this is more than a dad, and I think everything, you know, either experience or real formal, everything is a teachable moment. Let's put together, you know, 3 or 5 tips for people who are entering step parenting situations.
Listen to all parties involved.
Okay.
Because especially depending on what type of situation you walking into. So like me per se, like, you know, like I'm hands on with my kids. So like if they was to get like a new stepdad or something, like you gonna have to be open to what I'm saying too, as well. Right. As well as the mom, as well as my child, because you're coming into this situation brand new. You can't really dictate anything. So you have to listen. And be understanding. Take your time. Take your time with it. Nothing happens overnight. Like even like I remember like when I first like met like Nadia, like she didn't really talk to me. She just kind of just looked at me like, oh, you know my dad. She just looked at me like she didn't really say much. And like, you know, over time she began to open up to me like, oh, he's kind of cool. Like, I mean, and then like, you know, we built this relationship to whereas though like today, you know, like we have this great relationship that even goes beyond like her mom. Like we have our own relationship. So definitely take your time with it, and it's a journey. It's not gonna be perfect. It's gonna be ups. It's gonna be downs. It's not gonna be perfect. It's not gonna be easy. You might come across the kids that be like, "You ain't my dad," but don't let that deter you, and don't take it to heart. Because at the end of the day, they're children, so they may just be acting out because of the situation. They may just not like the situation. You're not my dad. They may not be comfortable with it, but they're children, and you can't really hold that against them.
And on the flip side of that, like don't be super prideful and like using it the wrong way, right? Like you got all this to prove. That's probably the words. Don't carry the role like you have so much to prove and it's awkward or
Right,
it's
absolutely.
not genuine or you feel like you gotta get as invested as the others and you're never gonna win that battle. They created that person,
Right.
So yeah, I just think that's some good tips right there. We haven't even spoke on that part of it, but like handling a child and you being with the person, but the dynamic of their other parent is a thing.
Right. I mean, you absolutely have to be mindful of that because you don't want to, like, people can be territorial. So like I've seen examples of like I don't know how to navigate the space myself. Like I'm with a chick, she got another man that she got to deal with, that she got to talk to, because it's not, unless you've dealt with a person with kids, it's not common. Like my
Right,
girl is my girl. She's not my girl and his baby mom. You know
right,
what I'm saying? So like just my girl. Now my girl is like attached to some other dude that's not like her dad or her brother or something. Um
right.
so like it's just for one being comfortable in yourself and in your relationship and trust that like she here with me. Once you kind of get past that part of it, then now we're into the realm of like trying to navigate the space where we make this work where it's effective for everybody. Because at the end of the day, regardless of how great of a step parent you are, kids at some point, most kids look for their other parent.
Yep.
Um, some may, I can't say 100% because I'm not. We've had, I think T Bark was up here like, oh, I don't really care about dude, but he said that. I know me personally, like I had a mom my whole life, and she was great. She was awesome, and when it came time for me to like or yearn for that part of my biological mom, it still happened. It didn't like prevent like me having a great mom that raised me didn't prevent me from feeling like that part of my life was missing. Um, and if that's the case, I wouldn't want to like shut my kids out to that. Like I wouldn't want to shut them out to that. Like so, I would try to keep the lines of communication open as possible.
When I first started dating my wife, and she wasn't my wife then, and she was expecting Manny, and I took it real negative at one point, but one of the comments that always stuck with me was like, why you signing up to be this stepdad? Like the kid's gonna have a void that you can never fill, and I took it like kind of like personal and negative, and like
Right.
um, I'm gonna be so great, it's not gonna matter, right? Like just take it on as a challenge. But
Absolutely.
4 years later, it's like being honest, like it still might be a thing, like you said. Like your mom did nothing wrong for you to still want to seek out your biological mom.
Right.
And my question to you was like, how did your mom handle that? Like, did she feel betrayed, or like did she get weird with you about it?
Kinda, really, yeah,
Yeah,
kinda a little bit. Like, um, not that she really like kept me away, like away from her. It was just more so like I could kind of read the tension. Like it was like tense moments. Like I
right.
know like if they both was kind of around, it was tension there. It was tension because like again territorial. You've been here my whole life. She wasn't really here. Now she's here, and it's like I really don't want to give up what I have. So it was like tension there, but at the same time, this person is a part of me. regardless of whether she was here or not, and that's how we talk about that unconditional love, that connection, those things that's just innate. Like, she was here, so I was looking. And I was looking, yeah, I was spitting myself. My bad, y'all. And I was looking for that. So it was just like I said, I still yearn for it. So like I don't know if she navigated in the best space. Like a lot of things, like they was just a part of that was just they wanted. I mean, it's the territorial nature of it. Like that's my kid. That ain't your kid no more. That's me now.
You know what I think? You know what I think it is?
Like that's me.
No, that's a good point, bro. Another thing is like it becomes like I put in all this work because you get that from like a single parent. Like I put in all this work for you to come back. Now imagine
Right.
being a step parent that did something he ain't supposed to do, and now you want to take claim for all the wreck or the investment I put on this kid. Imagine like if I don't know if Brian got a step parent or not, but imagine I don't think Brian got a step parent. But imagine like you end up being LeBron successful and now
Now
dad
you want to
comes
come
back
back into the picture.
right? It becomes like we don't ever call that out, but that's a real thing. It's like I did 18 years of the work. My kid going to be the greatest, whatever he wants to be, and now you just here.
Yeah, I mean, but that again, that's a part of being a step parent. That's just what happens.
It's the hardest role in the house, bro.
You can't erase, you can't erase the biological parents. So you kind of just gotta be able to navigate it in a way that's effective. And if the biological parent never materializes to be anything, then you got to be there to like reinforce and console the kid and make sure that they still good.
It's not for everybody.
Nah, not for the faint of heart, for sure.
It's not for everybody, and if you ain't never really been in a selfless position where like everybody else is going to get the glory for something, or like you may not ever get the pat on the back for doing it, and if that's going to ever be a problem for you, you probably not the person for it.
Absolutely, but I think you get the pats on the back, and
In the end,
yeah,
like,
it'll take time. I mean, some faster than others, but
your kid will be 36 and finally being me and like, yo, thank you for real,
yeah,
yo.
like, I appreciate you. Good looking out, cuz. Like, all right,
It'll be random.
I waited for it, but it all worked out.
No, man, we want to thank y'all for tuning in to More Than a Dad,
Absolutely,
the step parent edition.
yes, sir. You know what I'm saying, shout out to the step parents. Shout out to all parents.
No, shout out to the step parents. They need the love. You know what I mean? Like I said, it's not cool to say step parent, but like shout out to all of y'all.
Shout out to the.
But thank y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all for all the support, man. We love doing this and bringing these topics and conversations to the forefront for y'all.
Absolutely.
And, man, we see y'all next week, man.
Until next time, y'all.
Until next time. Join the More Than a Dad family by following us on Instagram, subscribing to our YouTube channel. Don't forget to join our Facebook group for daily questions, motivation, dad jokes, and new dad tips. If you enjoy our podcast, please leave us a review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Be sure to like, comment, and share our content with other parents. Last but not least, make sure you check out our new merch. The link is in the bio of our Instagram as well as the description of this YouTube video. We are truly grateful, and thanks for supporting More Than a Dad.
More than a dot, more than a dot.